Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're excited to be back in the building with you this evening. Well, anytime we come to this lovely stage, we always like to introduce the most beautiful woman, or at least one of the most beautiful women on Talk Sports Radio or TV. The lovely Miss Tree Dolman is in the building.
Hey, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
And of course, we're also doing this. When you have a queen, you must have a champion as well. Two-time Super Bowl champion and proud HBCU alum, the one and only Mr. Tyrone Poole is back in the building.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hello, radio and television land. How you doing, Minister? How you doing, Tree?
Hey, Tyrone.
All right.
Well, so we're great. Good to have you and good to see you back here in TV and live streaming land. So good to see both of you. Well, we'll get right to it here. There's lots of stuff going on right up the road from us, just a few miles away, in a place called Truist Park. The Atlanta Braves are desperately trying to find a way to win game number 4 and end this series and not have to go back to Milwaukee for game 5. And when I last checked the score, the Braves were losing actually 4-2. The Milwaukee Brewers had a 2-run homer in the top of the 5th inning. And so the Braves find themselves in a little bit of trouble. We'll do a quick check here on Google. And breaking news, the Bravos have tied it back up. So in the bottom of the 6th, the Braves 4 and the Milwaukee Brewers 4. So the Braves are trying to do whatever they can to win this thing, get out of here. Tyrone, you often talk about this in terms of championship mindset. How important is it for the Braves to try to get this game 4 and put this series to bed?
You know, there's a lot of conversations I heard this morning about this actual. Make sure I turn volume on here. Hopefully you guys can hear me better.
Yes.
Okay. There was a lot of talk about, the ending this series, and I heard a few people use the term when you have your foot on someone's throat, you go for the kill. We've played Mortal Kombat. I know there's a lot of people out there that have played Mortal Kombat, and there's a point in the game when you got your opponent on the rope. It says finish him. So the conversation was Charlie Morton. Do you bring Charlie Morton back even though he's on short rest? Okay. Well, I like what one fan said. One guy tried to say, well, he basically just pitched. And this and that. But then the fan, that's why I say sometimes the fans out there, they have more knowledge than the people who actually think they know sports. Okay. They may not have a show, but they know sports better than some of the people who have shows. The guy says, when you got a team on the rope and Charlie Morton is your ace and you try to close it out, if Charlie can go, you pitch Charlie. You close it out. So when it comes to closing out, to answer your question, long story short, when you got someone on the ropes, you finish them. If you got a team, whether it's football, basketball, if you got them on the ropes, you finish them. In boxing, you finish them, because if you mess around, you're going to give them a second win, a second chance at life, and you're going to wish you had done what you knew you should have done in the beginning. So finish them. So that's
what do you think?
I mean, I agree with everything what Tyrone was saying. We know in sports, like he said, my motto is never let a team think they can beat you, because that's when you start getting in trouble. So when you have a team down, you have to, like he said with Mortal Kombat, which I love that he used that reference because I used to play that game all the time. It's like, woo, and the whole moves and finish them, everybody, so. And with sports, I agree. You do see where some coaches, they're like, oh, we are up by so much, miss your serve, or, don't go so hard on them. I disagree. I'm not that girl. I don't care if I beat somebody 50-0, 25-0. I'm winning. I'm going hard the entire game. And so I think that the Braves need to finish this off. We're all rooting for them, and I think that they can do it. So what do you think, Jonathan?
No, there's no doubt. I mean, I like the idea. I was talking to some guys at work earlier today about the idea of bringing out Charlie Morton, and basically what we talked about, the fact that you want to win or lose, ride and die with your best. And he's been the best pitcher for the Braves all year long. He has playoff experience. Now, did he do what they wanted him to do? I think they wanted to try to get into the 5th or 6th inning. Unfortunately, got him, I think, into the 4th. But the bottom line is, when you're in a game like this, you treat it like a game 7. So every bullpen, every pitcher that's in that bullpen is going to be available for service. And so far, the Braves bats have been able to match the Brewers shot for shot. As I mentioned, the score is tied in inning number 6. Braves, I believe, are still batting in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they have tied the score up 4-4. The Braves that went down 2-0. They had a big 2-strike. Now, Tyrone and Tree, I know you both like this. Clutch. Braves were down 2-0. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 2 strikes, and Eddie Rosario got his bat on the ball and drove it into right center field for a 2-run tying game. And to me, that kind of was the key, because up to that point, like I said, your best guy went out. They got 2 runs on you. You're down. So to get that game tied back was fantastic. And then, of course, unfortunately, right in the next inning, Milwaukee's Tellez hit a blast. I mean, he hit it back into, there's a wooded area. They have a mock wooded area in the back of the center field area of outfield, and they estimated the blast went about 440 feet. Wow. But Travis d'Arnaud comes right back and gets 2 runs batted in the Braves' 5th inning, I believe, up in the 5th inning. And so now the score is in fact tied 4-4 here in the bottom of the 6th. So we're going to keep our eye on that as the Braves and Milwaukee go back. I mean, literally, bam, bam, bam. One guy scores 2, the other team scores 2. So yeah, it should be must-see TV for the rest of this series. Well, speaking of series,
how exciting is that, though? You have
really
2 outs, 2 strikes, and then you pull in 2 runs. Like, to me, that just gets everybody into the game.
Oh, listen, the tomahawk chop was in full throttle. It's rocking. I mean, in the back of my mind, actually, I thought about going to the game. Tickets a little bit expensive, but just to kind of even be at the Battery, which, good Lord willing, if the Braves do in fact go to the division series, I think I'm going to visit the Battery, even if I go to the game, because I don't know if you guys have ever been out there, but literally they have probably about 1,500 fans that are all out in that venue where they have all the restaurants and the huge sports car called Sports Social, where they have a Jumbotron inside the bar. And then they have TVs that ring around the Jumbotron of the main game. It's just really, it's an incredible sight up there. And like I said, great food, great beverages, both regular and those of the spirited aspect. So you can go and enjoy yourself at full throttle there. Well, speaking of things going on, WNBA, it's just been incredible what we've been seeing so far. So talk to us a little bit about what you've seen as we now are in the finals.
Well, as any team knows, once you get to the finals, everything else is out the window. The fact, first of all, that the 5th seed and the 6th seed are the 2 teams that's playing for a finals, not number 1 and number 2. They were both knocked out. So Chicago is leading the series, the best of 5. Chicago won game 1. Game 2 is tomorrow on ESPN. Make sure everybody go ahead and watch. These girls are playing phenomenal defense. They're playing offense. I mean, if you want to see some players work hard, you need to watch and support the WNBA finals. It's great basketball to watch. I love seeing Candace Parker out there doing her thing. But even though I like Candace Parker, and of course I would like for her to win, I really think that Phoenix is going to take the series. But that's my prediction. What about you, Jonathan?
Well, obviously we would like to see Chicago, because I believe we have a hometown gal that plays on that team, Miss Diamond the Shield. So we would like to do that. We had a chance to interview her when she was the Naismith High School Basketball Player of the Year about 6 or 7 years ago, where she was played on, I believe, a dominant Norcross squad. And so, yeah, it's great to see that. She played for a couple of years overseas, I think in Turkey, and then came back and led the WNBA. And so I know her mom's happy. The rest of her family's excited that she's back here. And I think her mom, Tisha, is actually there watching the game. I'm not sure. Tisha, if you are, big shout out to you and big ups. So, yeah, that's why I'd like to see win it.
Tyrone?
You know what? I love any type of sporting event when it's playoff time. Even baseball. Like I seldomly go and would want to go to a baseball game during the season because it's a long season and the guys are trying to save themselves, and you're really not going to get that effort. Basketball, football, soccer, but when it comes to the playoffs, everybody know it's win or go home.
That's
so
right.
They're gonna bring their A game. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna make sure they get enough rest. And if they're at the house with the kids, they're gonna tell the wife, you know what, I gotta go stay in the hotel for the rest of this week doing this series, so I won't be at home. Or it's the woman, hey, I gotta leave the house. I gotta be away for a week because I gotta focus. We're in the playoff, baby. So I love it. This is the time that every fan loves it because it's the playoff time. Win or go home.
I'll go home. Well, one thing that both teams will definitely go home with, Tree, I'm sure you saw it was all over Instagram, WNBA, because of the 25th anniversary. Each player, Tyrone, got an unbelievable swag bag, including handcrafted jackets that were unique to each and every player. So each player had their own.
No, each player didn't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The W25.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's why.
So they had, since it's the 25th season.
Let's get it right. Here we go.
They had the top 25 players since the season has started. So only those 25 players who have been named the best of all time, those are the players who got the Louis Vuitton duffel bag and the jacket with the patches that were made just for them.
See, that's the hot topic. That's the hot topic. But there's a lot of hot topics out there. But yeah, that's a hot topic there at Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, the whole idea that each jacket was individually done with patches for that particular player. I mean, these are and rightfully so. These are 20 top 25 players in their history so far, and this 25th anniversary. What better than to, have this kind of stuff? And I got a daughter at the house, so I know anything that's Louis Vuitton or Coach on it, that dog will hunt all day. Yeah, that's a gift that they don't have no problem. I don't know where it is. No, that will be in the right spot right there for her. So so kudos to them.
I'll use those duffel bags. And I loved it because Louis Vuitton made a special tag that says W25 on each duffel bag. So they're the only 25 in the world, which is just also phenomenal. So everything that they got was unique and just for them. And so my kudos goes off to Louis Vuitton and the WNBA for doing this. Way to honor these legendary women. I know so many of my friends and associates have played in the WNBA, and these women just work so hard. So congratulations to all of the W25. You all are phenomenal and well-deserved. Well-deserved. You guys have paved the way for so many.
No doubt. And speaking of basketball, big shout out to the Atlanta Hawks, because believe it or not, guys, the opening game, I believe, is October the 21st. I mean, literally, they're right around the corner. They do have a final preseason home game against the Miami Heat, which I believe is on Thursday, the 14th. So we're going to try to see if we can get ourselves over there, maybe peeking on that. We do have a high school football game on Friday, so we're going to try to see if we can do that. And then after that, man, next week we are playing Tyrone real basketball. No preseason, no practice. The real situation will be going on. And again, I expect some big things out of another hometown hero. I really do believe that Sharif Cooper is going to make an immediate impact on this team.
The crazy thing is, even though the Hawks had a great basketball season, they still are not getting, as we call it, that respect. There's still like 5 other teams that they are picking that could win the championship. So, the Hawks, I'm pretty sure they really want to get out and get this season started because still they got to prove themselves. You just can't have one winning season and then automatically think you deserve to be at the top. you deserve to sit at the head of the table. No, it don't happen like that. So I'm pretty sure as players, they can't wait to get this season started so they can get back out there and hopefully put 2 back-to-back seasons together. Because what they don't want to do, they don't want to have a great season last year and then flop this year. It's going to be like, see, I told you so. Kind of like the late Dennis Green. They were who we thought
they were.
They don't want to be like that. The Hawks want to be like that.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah, that's what people would say. That's what they would say. If the Hawks do not win this year and play and outperform what they did last year, they cannot play no less than what they did last year.
No,
right.
They don't say they are who we thought they were.
We're going to stop it right there.
Yeah, with the late Dennis Green.
Right. So I had to go ahead and put my shades on that, guys. But listen.
That's a great quote.
No, that is a great quote.
Hold it right there. We got to go to a break. Don't go nowhere, guys, because we're coming back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show, and we got some special guests. You want to know who they are? We'll keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. All right, we're back here on the Real Talk Sports Show. Appreciate all those of you who watch us on multiple platforms here, and we are very, very appreciative about that. We're going to talk a lot of different things on the show tonight. You guys got to keep it locked because there's a lot going on in NFL. So you guys got to hang around for NFL segment because it's going to be something. Anyway, speaking of something, we got, what time it is. Every second Tuesday is Jonesboro Cardinal Tuesday. And of course, when we have the Jonesboro Cardinals, we got to have the head Cardinal himself. First of all, the head coach, the Timothy Floyd, is in the building. Coach Floyd, welcome back, sir.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man, good to see you, sir. A lot of excitement over there at Tara Stadium last week. Your young men really acquitted themselves very nicely on the gridiron, sir.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job. But, as we prepare for the next game, we always got to go back and, fix the mistakes. But, I'm pretty proud of them up to this point.
Yeah, so what was the final score of that game, Coach? Because, everybody's kind of hearing you kind of talk kind of low-key. What was the final score again?
It was 56-6.
56-6. 56-6. It was just a beatdown of epic proportion. One we kind of didn't expect. We thought it was going to be a closer game. Forest Park had kind of looked like they were kind of turning the corner, riding the ship. But Jonesboro does what they have done in the games that they have won that we have broadcast. They hit them hard early and repeatedly. And next thing the game got out of hand very, very quickly. Well, I see you got some of your young team here. Let's see if we can get these young men up all into the building. First of all, we got Mr. DeMarco Ballard. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show, young man.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we got two guys that are kind of regulars. First of all, Mr. Curtis Bowden is in the building.
Yes, sir.
And this guy here, guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. This last guy I'm bringing up, I think Coach just be having them play like any position on the field. Like I got him listed on. I look on the Max Prep. It says tight end, but I saw him taking snaps at the quarterback position. I saw him out there playing some defense. Marcus Dunn, the all-around man, is in the building. Well, gentlemen, what's going on? Good to see you. Well, Tree, I'm gonna let you go first. I know you always have some good questions to ask the young man about what they're doing besides football.
Well, I definitely want to talk about football first. So since you guys are coming off of this great win, right? What is your motivation to keep the momentum going to where you're not just going to have a few wins? What's going to motivate you to play even harder for the next game from what you learned that you did well and what you can improve on the last game?
DeMarco, I'll go to you first.
Just basically just staying locked in, just staying focused at practice, and just make sure we get the job done, stuff like that.
Staying locked in. Okay.
Curtis?
I say all the good and the bad stuff. You gotta mix the good with the bad. So we just gotta get better every week, every day, if we go to practice and stuff like that.
Facts.
Marcus?
I just say going out there having fun with my boys, and we just staying locked in, ready to play. And all it's about is just having fun at the end of the day, keeping a smile on everybody's face.
I love it. Staying locked in and having fun.
And I'm with it. Y'all go to Instagram page. I tried to do a post-game interview with Coach Floyd. And I was like, Coach, and all of a sudden, man, I was like, I'm doing the middle of the interview. I don't know, about 3 or 4 guys ran by. They were all in the back of the screen. I was like, come on, man, I'm trying to get this interview. And finally, Coach was like, hey, y'all got to step to the side, man. So clearly, everybody was having a good time, what was going on the field. Well, Coach, I think everybody asked the same question. We'll ask it of you. What do you do to keep the team on kind of an even keel? So, okay, that win is gone. We got to kind of focus on our business against a team that you played down to the wire last year, Tri-Cities.
One of the first things we do after any game is say, if it's a win, pat yourself on the back, but we got to get back to work. Sunday, Monday, if it's a loss, we got to get back in the film, get back to work so we can get ready for the next game. It's always about, enjoy that moment, but you always got to get ready for the next moment that we're prepared for. And you heard a lot of the guys say staying locked in, and that's really the main focus each and every day, staying locked in our preparation, making sure we handle the small details, being disciplined to the details, as we call it, and to the smallest details. And, just kind of playing for each other. And I think that's sometimes it sounds cliches, but I think this is a group that, they play for each other. And they actually like brothers. We have our times where your brother want to kind of rip your head off, but then we bounce back and hugging and loving on each other after that. And that's just kind of the focus that we use each week, every day.
Tyrone, now you got some questions or comments for the young man?
Wait, can I say something?
Oh, okay.
His name is Hall of Fame Tyrone. I just
right,
go ahead, Hall of Fame Tyrone.
They're talking to a Hall of Famer here, baby.
Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tree. Tree, one of my biggest fans. She's one of my biggest fans. Yes. I've had an opportunity, talking about champions and everything like that. I had an opportunity to win some championships and be on some teams. So I know that are champions. And I know that there's a formula to winning championships. Now, when you're winning, everything is fun. And sometimes you can lose focus, not to focus on what's going on with your opponent, but to focus with yourself. All great teams that I've been on, we've studied ourselves, and we study ourselves as we go through the season. Even coaches, they have a tendency to become complacent, and they continue to call the same calls, and they don't really go back and study themselves. And when they get into the playoffs, they are creatures of habit. And I think sometimes those are the intangibles. So the question that I want to ask is for the coach and the players, what are you guys doing individually while you are winning to really do inventory on yourself to find out, okay, I still need to get better in this. So what in your game as a player can you get better at? And as a coach, what in your game or your staff can you guys get better to hopefully keep this winning going on?
Well, I started.
Go, yes, sir.
Each week, I do look at myself. I think I am my biggest critic, and I think that I have to be that way if I'm gonna, press the players and press the coaches. So it's always a question, the areas where we make the mistakes. The first question is, what can I do better? What can I do to help the coaches help that player get better? And what can I do to help the player actually get better himself? So it is a continuous process. And I think once I get comfortable, I need that coach to pat me on the back and tell me, Coach, you need to, come back and look at this. And I got to give a shout out to Coach Cap over at North Clayton. We talk every week and we kind of review each other's past weekend. And that that kind of straightened both of us out, actually.
Yeah, that's good there, coach. Because like you said, when you win, you tend to like, okay, don't worry about you fumbling the ball. Don't worry about it. But the good teams, they said, no. We got a drill for that because that's not going to happen next week. What about you, Marcus? What you got? What do you look at? What are you looking at, or what do you see in yourself that you need to improve on?
Really going 100% every play, even though I'm not getting the ball. Like bursting off the ball, my blocking wise, my running route wise, it goes on and on and on. I just know I got to look at myself every film and see what I'm doing wrong, so I come back next week and see I can do the right thing. Because when I do the right things, I get open, I make good blocks, and I just help the team out so we can keep winning more games.
Yeah, and I tell you this, Marcus. There's a game when you talk about effort. I believe in that. You gotta give an effort even when you're not getting the ball. I'm gonna take you back. You guys are probably too young, but you for this, I'm getting tongue twisted. But you guys are probably too young to know this. But I want you guys to go back and look at the Cleveland Browns against the Denver Broncos back, I think it was 1986 or what have you. Now, a lot of people want to charge Ernest Biner with that fumble. Yes, he fumbled the ball. But let me tell you, the real person who caused that fumble, it was a receiver who did not run his route. He came out the line of scrimmage slow jogging, and the cornerback for the Denver Broncos read that it was a run because the receiver wasn't getting no effort, and he came in and hit Ernest Biner and knocked the ball off. But if that receiver had run to the pylon and did what he's supposed to do, full speed, that DB would have ran with him, and the Cleveland Browns probably would be celebrating a Super Bowl. So, Curtis, what you got? Curtis? What you need to work on?
I say my mental reps in practice. Coach always preach the boring stuff is what you're not gonna like, but it helped win games, win championships. So you gotta lock in, make sure all the mental stuff is there, and during the game, make sure everybody flying to the ball. He also preached like 13, 14, 15 hats to the ball every play. So every play you gotta make sure we all flying to the ball, no matter if it's not on our side or just making sure the play get made. Regardless.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that too. It's a mental game. It's all about angles. If you understand angles, you can beat your person to the punch. You can make that play. Last but not least, Mr. Ballard, what you got, sir?
Mainly just learning from my mistakes. Going back, watching film from previous games and stuff like that. Just learning from what I did wrong and making sure that I'm going hard in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I tell you, as a DB, they would tell us to forget about what just happened. Okay, that is true. Okay, and what you just said is true, but I want to pass this to you as well. You forget what happened because you don't want it to affect your game, but you don't forget how it happened. Okay, forget what happened, but don't forget how it happened, because when it comes down to it, they're gonna come right back to that play. All right, yes, sir. So that's good job, man. Good luck to you guys, man. You guys go out there and work that thing.
Yep, they really been putting on quite the offensive show, like I said there. Another thing too is I don't know how many of the band are watching tonight, but it was really like a college situation where I gotta give kudos to both squads, both the Jonesboro squad. Their marching band was just incredible. Now, what's the official name, Coach, for your marching band again? Y'all got an official name that y'all use? I think we kind of Coach might have froze up for a second. All right, you guys know what the official name for your band is?
The Majestic Marching Cardinals.
The Majestic Marching Cardinals. It was like a heavyweight championship because it was the Majestic Cardinals in the building against the Forest Park Kings of Sound. And let me tell you something, man. Those two bands went at it for they started off hype, and then they each kind of did their thing. It really was incredible to see. So if you guys get a chance to come out, even if you can't really watch the whole game, do what you do with HBCUs. Come on, get to halftime, because we got some of the best bands in the Atlanta metro area right there at Clayton County. So a big shout out to all those of you watching from the Majestic Band, from the Louisville Cardinals, and the Kings of Sounds of Forest Park. Oh, yeah, y'all got down last week. There's no doubt. No doubt. So now you guys going to Tri-Cities. Actually, you guys are playing, I believe, at 12 Oaks. Now, how many games you got? You guys play a couple of games each year at 12 Oaks. That's kind of like your secondary home stadium. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you looking forward to against Tri-Cities, this rematch? You guys, like I said, again, had to come from behind with an epic 10 points down and scored, I think, with 40 seconds left to go in the game. So what are you looking forward to against Tri-Cities this year to try to maybe take care of them so it doesn't get down to that again? And first, I think Coach Floyd is back in the building. Coach, are you there?
Yes, sir.
There he is. Okay. So I was asking your players, and I'll ask you first because we're getting to the end of the segment. What are you guys going to have to do to take on this Tri-City squad that really gave you guys all you could handle last year?
I think first of all, start with our preparation this week. Each day we got to work to get better at our craft. Each person do and got to understand, the role that they have to play when we step out there Friday, and just being disciplined to the details. Making our fits, running our routes as hard as we can, just doing everything with max effort. To the best that we can, and just keep playing for each other, and just keep working hard.
Look, guys, as always, man, the segment goes so fast. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up the social media for you right here. Oh, I got the wrong one. I got Tyrone Poole. You can follow him too, but
Hall of Fame
I'm gonna have to change that whole thing now.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to fix that, Tyrone. To put now Hall of Fame or at least HOF in parentheses on the side so people know what time it is. All right, here's the Cardinal information right here, guys. Jonesboro High School football. Follow them at JS Cardinal Football on Instagram. Follow them at JHS Cardinal FB on Twitter. They are kind enough often to repost some of our game segments. So when you see that little banner underneath, that would be us live streaming the game. So we appreciate all the love and the reposting from there. All right, guys, listen, until the next time, God bless you. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Let's go, Burrow.
There we go.
Let's go, Jonesboro.
All right, guys, we're going to a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
All right, guys, before we get into some college football and then eventually the NFL, all that's going on, we had an opportunity to cover an event, great event held by the chairman of our county commissioners, Jeff Turner, and it was called the International Ball that he does each and every year. And we got a little clip of some people talking about why they went to that event. So stay tuned.
Hey, sports fans, tune in for live.
Those of you who follow me know that I always remember a pretty face. This lady was on with us once before. She does a mover and shaker with women's events in McDonough, but I'm going to let her introduce herself to you right now.
Hi guys, I am Ariel Shaw, founder and president of Southern Crescent Women in Business.
Great to see you again. And what brings you out to Chairman Turner's event?
Well, we do cover Clayton County. We wanted to make sure we show support for Chairman Turner as well as support for veterans.
Hi, yes, my name is Samantha Adams, and I'm an attorney with Lister Holmes Dennis. And, we wanted to just go ahead and, participate in some community events. And, because we are a member of the Clayton County community.
I'm Evangelist Martha Holly in Clayton County.
Tell us what brought you out to this ball tonight. Chairman Turner does it for the fifth time now.
Yes, all fifth time I've been here. I'm either the one singing the opening prayer or I'm here to support. Even tonight.
Hello, everybody. I'm Monica Colbert with the law offices of Fincher Denmark.
All right, so what brought you guys out to this event? Let me get the other camera in here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what brought you guys out to this event?
Well, this is always a great event, and we love to take part in any charitable opportunities that we can do in Clayton County.
Unless I had the man behind the event himself, Chairman Turner, you got to be excited about another great event.
Absolutely. Another great successful event, and we honored and was able to raise funds for a very worthy cause, veterans helping veterans.
All right, so yeah, Chairman Turner, great thing that he did there. You can see they had us on the backdrop, and we we had a lot of activity going on around us, but we thank God for the people that did came. A great contribution, was able to give back to the veterans, and it's really cool because in international ball, they basically pick out, I think it's 6 or 7 different countries that you represented, with not only obviously the representative coming there, but they also bring their food, so you can sample different types of cuisine, and they also do some type of performance. So we had a contingent from China, a contingent from Korea, from I believe it was Ghana. Also from, I'm drawing a blank now, but I think it was 2 other countries as well that participated. So it was great stuff to see that. And of course, all the funds went back to the veterans. So big ups and big shout out to the guys in Clayton County, the county where I reside right now. So big shout out to them. But guys, college football, and we have a changing of the guard, a shocker, as the Alabama Crimson Tide went down in flames in the state of Texas. The Texas A&M shocked them with a late field goal as time expired and handed the Alabama Crimson Tide their very first loss this season. And for the first time in over 30 years, the Georgia Bulldogs are ranked numero uno in the country. Tyrone, what do you think about this move where Georgia now is finally number 1 for the first time in years?
Well, I'm going to say this first about Alabama. Does that loss make them more dangerous going forward? I'm just saying, they may be wounded with that one loss, but man, look here, they still, I believe, that dog, so they can still play. But yeah, Georgia, congratulations to the Bulldogs. Is there pressure being at the top? We about to find out. Sometimes too much pressure can cause destruction, but I think Kirby Smart has got a team that he's finally put together, and I think it's theirs to lose. But as I heard a great player say one time, that's why we play the game. Actually, Herm Edwards. He said,
Edwards, you got to play the games.
Exactly. You play the game to win. So, but yeah, Georgia can finish out. I think it's their championship to lose. But again, Cincinnati, I think they may be the surprise. They may be the dark horse. They may be the Central Florida. What was the team that actually everybody was like, you should have put them into the college playoffs, and they were the hottest team that nobody really knew about. So yeah, I think Cincinnati is that Cinderella team, but Alabama, I think they still that bear, man. It's just a point of win, or they gonna wake up and get back to the Alabama ball. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Tree, anything surprise you or catch your attention? In addition to that game, anything got you like, whoa?
I mean, just the fact that they lost. But I agree with Tyrone. I think it makes them more dangerous because, now you have a L, and so now you have people doubting you. And nobody can ever say that Nick Saban is not doing greatness and creating greatness at Alabama. I mean, you can't argue, and the people who do try to argue, they have no clue about sports because the numbers don't lie. He has done greatness. At the same regard, Georgia, I think they do have a great team this year. When it comes head to head, if they do get the opportunity, we'll see, because we know that Alabama has dropped and they're going to have to play their way back in. And so it depends on what other teams will do, and we'll see. Can Georgia stay undefeated for the rest of the season and keep that number 1 spot? That'll be the test. But I do think that this year Georgia has a really good team, and I'm really looking forward to see how things go, because I think Alabama will play their way back up into the top, because I do think other teams will lose and fall off, even though I do also have to throw in that Michigan is undefeated, and so is Michigan State. So, I had to throw that in there as well. I like seeing my Big Ten teams because a lot of my Big Ten schools are doing great as well. So, yeah, exciting football season.
Because I was going to ask you, Tree. I was going to say, now what about Michigan? Now Michigan, 6-0. I'm like, Harbaugh, he doing the thing up there. Are they really a true 6-0 team? Because sometimes a team can be undefeated. They could be 6-0, but people will say, no, they're not a real. That's not a real 6-0 team.
Yeah.
So is Michigan a real 6-0 team?
I believe that they are. We have a really good team, and I think that as the season goes on, we'll see, because of course teams will start losing. So everybody can't stay undefeated, right? You're going to have some losses, but you will get those top teams that will. And I do believe that this year Michigan is a true 6-0 team. So I think they'll continue moving up the ranks.
Well, no question. Let's take a look at the rankings here, and then we'll get back and talk about those Georgia Bulldogs in just a second. Speaking of Georgia Bulldogs, they are now the #1 ranked team in the nation. As I mentioned, the first time they've done that since 1982. So they are in rarefied air. We've not seen them there this late in the season. I shouldn't say that. They were ranked #1 in 2008 as a preseason favorite, and I believe they lost the first game of the season. So number 2, the Big Ten being repped by the Iowa Hawkeyes, 6-0. And I told you folks before, a couple of weeks ago, my dark horse candidate, along with Mr. Tyrone Poole, I actually had a chance to cover these guys last year when they came here for the Chick-fil-A Bowl. The Bearcats of Cincinnati, 5-0, and they are now for the first time actually in the top 4. So if the season was to end today, they would be there. Oklahoma at number 4 rounds up the top 4. So again, if the season ended today, those would be the top 4 teams in there. Alabama lurking at number 5 at 5-1. The Ohio State Buckeyes, even with one loss, still ahead of their 2 Big Ten brethren. Penn State at 7 with 5-1, and Michigan at 6-0. And also, I'm surprised Tree didn't throw this in. Also undefeated at number 10 is the Michigan State Spartans at 6.
I did. I said Michigan and Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, Georgia will have their hands full next week because they are taking on an undefeated Kentucky Wildcat squad that, like Georgia, has a very stout defense. So it's going to be very interesting to see if, in fact, that Georgia doesn't look at this as the traditional Kentucky squad. They are, again, undefeated this late in the season for the first time since 1950. So it should be a good one here, and they're ranked number 11 in the country. But, Tyrone, I mean, I know one thing you love about this Georgia team is they are dominant to the point where some people are saying this might be one of the greatest college defenses ever assembled.
Definitely. I'm glad you started with defense because I believe in order to win a championship, you got to be able to get off the field. And again, we talk about teams in the SEC. Again, you can't help but mention Alabama. But Georgia, when you look at offensively and defensively, I'm pretty sure Kirby Smart would say that they need to get a little bit better on third down because those stats really, really determine if you're able to win a championship. You got to be able to get out the field. You got to be able to come onto the field as a defense and, as we would say, put out the fire. And what I mean by put out the fire, say if the offense was driving, and then they threw an interception. Then immediately we say, okay, hey, boom. We don't like it. We just sat down, drinking water, can't even finish a Gatorade. Okay, hey, we got to get out there. We got to put the fire out. So you got to be able to go out there and go 3 and out and get back off the field and put your offense back on the field. So third down is very, very crucial, I believe, in winning championships.
Well, let me go ahead and get my shades because the man himself, the ultimate shade thrower, Mr. Todd, has said, hey, the run for Alabama is over. Saban is done. Says, Tree, you love defense. Did you see Alabama's defense? Terrible.
I do love defense, Todd. You know me well.
Yeah, it was incredible. Tyrone, you saw it. Go ahead, Tree.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
So, Tyrone, I know you were pulling your hair out. Alabama had multiple failures in the defensive backfield. We saw guys running wide open for Texas A&M. So it's the worst I've seen Alabama defense look in a while.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at, I'm looking at stats and, you can't even find Alabama's third down defense in the polls. Actually, you got to go all the way down to 42nd. They are 42nd when it comes to the defense third down percentage getting off the field. And when you look at the Georgia Bulldogs, the Bulldogs are seventh in the nation. So South Alabama and North Carolina State, Wisconsin, Houston, San Diego State, Pittsburgh, and then Georgia when it comes to third down getting off the field. So, again, that's why Georgia's playing good. That third down, they're able to get off the field.
Okay. Our man from FFGS, Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies, he joined us on YouTube as a follower a little while back. He said, we've seen Georgia's story on beta, VHS, DVD. Now, some of y'all thinking, what is that? Go Google those things up. Jump Drive and streaming. The ending never changed. How likely is it going to change now? So what he's basically saying is,
one thing that's inevitable is change. So you never know. This could be the year.
Look, I mean, Tyrone, you said it best. It's theirs to lose. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Georgia's championship to lose because this team again, as a dominant defense. You got guys around the country beginning to say that this is one of the greatest college football defenses ever assembled. They're giving up less than 10 points a game. And it's not like they played, a traditional, and I should say traditionally, they haven't had a lot of cupcakes in there as well. So there's no question that Georgia is going to be a tough out. Let's go back to Todd. He said if 99 stays healthy for Georgia, they win it all. 6'7" and runs a 4.40. Yeah, he's a beast. There's no doubt. So look for Georgia to make some noise in the upcoming rest of the season. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, come back and talk a little bit more football, and then we're going to shift to the NFL because there was breaking news in the NFL, and we're going to talk about that as a hot topic as we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Please don't go nowhere. Thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Well, I just flashed up on the screen, and we'll read them in just a moment. Are remarks from a gentleman who has just lost his job. Unless you are in a cave, the breaking news had come out of Las Vegas as head coach John Gruden, a.k.a. Chucky, has been asked to leave the building. Actually, I shouldn't say that. He actually turned in his resignation after various emails had him saying all kinds of things about all kinds of people. So to kind of squeeze some of the things in, he made some statements that were considered to be racially insensitive about, I believe, the president of the NFL Players Association said something to the effect that he had rubber lips and mentioned that. He also then referred to some players as being gay. He also then called the current commissioner by the name of a female organ. So it is, he really kind of, after the first email, they uncovered several more. So he finds himself wanting for a job. I think we'll let ladies go first. Tree, how much have you heard about the emails, and kind of what are your thoughts about him resigning or being forced to resign?
Well, my thoughts are pretty clear in the sense of he definitely, after he met with the owner, then he resigned. I don't think he would have done it had the owner pretty much not told him, you have no choice but to resign or you're going to get fired. And I really was shocked, just because me watching him over all of the years and seeing him doing sports casting and coaching, I was really rooting for him. And I was really excited that he got the job for the Raiders. And I really was rooting for this gentleman. So to see the things that he was saying just goes to show how people can put on a front in public and then show their true colors. And the fact that he put all of these things in email and in writing over 11 years just shows that he really had no regard of his thoughts or it getting out. He thought it was perfectly fine, which I think it was quite disgusting. And I'm happy that he has resigned. And also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are removing him from their Ring of Honor, which I also think is great, because they're saying that he doesn't go with their core values and what they believe in. So it's something that has to happen. I don't think he will ever coach in the NFL again, because how can you coach people and you don't even believe in them, or you can't get players to respect you after doing something like this. So he has really shot himself in the foot. To whom much is given, much is required. And I think that he's just set himself up for failure in the sense of coaching in the NFL in the future.
And then he shot these remarks about, or DeMaurice Smith, a friend of mine, actually knows him on a professional level, connected with him, and he's the executive director of the NFL Players Association. Tyrone, before you jump in with this, I'm going to go ahead and pop up John Gruden's responses to the discovery of these emails. This is what it says here. I do know this, that at that point of my life, 11 years ago or 10 years ago, I'm sure I vented a little bit with my friends about certain things Gruden told the Athletic on Friday after the email became public. I know at that time the collective bargaining agreement was changing. There was a lockout going on, or the threat of a lockout. If I can remember, I probably looked at Smith, and I just mentioned who that is, DeMaurice Smith, who is the executive director of the NFL Players Association, and as the villain. And I was really upset. And I was really upset that there was going to be a lockout. I felt that Gene Upshaw, former Raider player, Hall of Famer also, would never have had that allowed happen. And then his second response was, I didn't feel like we were getting the truth. I refer to guys when I see them lying, I can tell they're lying. I refer to them as rubber lips. I went too far for calling him the mission lips. I never had a blade of racism in me. I was just pissed and used a terrible way to insult the guy. I've called Smith, DeMaurice Smith, and reached out to him. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'll continue to try. So those were his remarks. Tyrone, your thoughts on the Coach Gruden situation? There we go.
Wow, it's a lot of stuff to unpack here, so I'm not going to kind of dive into, Coach Gruden. What I'm going to try to do is paint a picture that's very broad for everybody to kind of see. Number one, I don't condone anything, even myself, when I say something or do something that's wrong. I know sometimes we say things in the heat of the moment. That's why the old saying goes, never make a permanent decision in a temporary situation. And most of the time we get heated, we get in our emotions, and we make a permanent decision or say something that's permanent in a temporary situation. We could have handled it better. Now, just like you mentioned, Minister, he said a whole lot of things about a whole lot of people and a whole lot of whatever. But when this situation first came out, they were just talking about what he said about the NFLPA leader. And, but then everything else came out. So I've learned that there is a code of the land. There is a code of the land. And what I mean by that, it's like, I'll add this in. There's a saying in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, okay? But sometimes we in public, we forget that we're in another arena. And that same code that would be stayed in the locker room, we say it outside the locker room, and then it becomes like, wow. But this is what the normal talk is around certain situations. And I want to read something real quick. Speaking the truth, okay? I'll try to go through this as quick as I can. Bear with me. Speaking the truth. And this is an article that comes from Psychology Today. No, I said Christian Today. Do we live in an overly sensitive society? Okay. Now, just talking about the truth. Now, I'm just talking about the truth. I'm not talking about no individual, just the principle. Because we're so quick to look at the experience. And I got to say this before I read, okay? We got two people that stand on top of a building, okay? And they both have bricks in their hands. And both drop the brick. One brick lands in the grass, doesn't hurt anybody. The other brick lands on a car. And that car hits another car. 3 people end up dead. We are so focused on what happened. Those people are dead. Yes, that's tragic. It should have never happened. But let's go back, people. Let's go all the way back. There were 2 people up there. They both dropped bricks with the same intentions. It's just that one didn't get hurt. The other one got hurt. So what I'm trying to say is the truth. It's a society thing. It just so happened that this got caught up. So I'm going to go through this article real quick. It says, we seem to convey the message that if we speak our minds about something controversial, we are at risk of being labeled a racist, a feminist, a sexist, a bigot, or so on. There is a big difference in saying the truth. And again, I'm not condoning nothing that nobody says that is out of order. There is a big difference in saying the truth and making the truth so that it suits the needs of someone who may take offense at what we say. Sometimes we are afraid of saying things because we do not want to be labeled discriminatory. It's not socially acceptable anymore to have an opinion, even if it means we are masking or bending the truth. And I believe there are a lot of people out there who are masking. And like I've had the conversation with people, I'd rather hang with somebody who I know don't like me, because at least I know you don't like me, versus hanging with somebody who you don't know what they like. Okay, they may shoot you in the back if that thing could work. But I finish up with this right here. It says we begin to reject conventional moral truths in order to avoid causing insult or offense, or otherwise act of charitably or civilly towards those we disagree with, so as not to merit a serious response. Unfortunately, we block the truth and suggest a new morality. And that's what we've done. We've changed the narrative, so to speak. Churches are suffering greatly from this phenomenon. Many church leaders, many church people feel the need to either omit or sugarcoat truth from the scripture in order to avoid offending anyone in the congregation. And that's how the world is. Sometimes people speak stuff, and that's what they, like when I was growing up, if I'm playing with my buddy and he's not playing right, I'll say, come on, man, stop acting like and play like you know how to play. But see, that's the code. And sometimes that code, like between me and my buddy, we don't argue with it. But when that code gets outside the land, you can't do it. Now, I finished with that. I promise, guys. I promise. I like this topic here. There's a movie, Rush Hour, right? Rush Hour. Chris Tucker and what's my guy?
Jackie Chan.
Okay, they walk into this pool hall, right? And Chris Tucker goes up to one of his buddies, black dude. He said, "What's up, my?"
Right. Yep. Classic scene.
What's up, my? Jackie Chan didn't say nothing at that time. He walked in, but then Chris Tucker told him, "Hey, go out there and wait while I handle business in here." So Jackie Chan walks out. Again, I'm talking about there's a code. Depending on when that code is spoken, is when it's relevant and when it's not right. So Jackie Chan walks out into the pool hall and he don't know what to say. So he says, "What's up, my?" And the guy "What'd you say?" He said, "What's up, my?" And then they start a big fight. So that's what I'm saying. That's a code that is spoken. But when that code is spoken out of content or in the wrong area, then it is what it is. That's my opinion.
I have a question.
Sure.
What's the relevance with John?
Well, I'm saying the things that he spoke when he said he called the commissioner, minister said, a female part. I'm like, how many times have I been playing where they're like, T-Poo, man, stop acting like the female part, man, and play ball. I'm like, I didn't get offended. I'm like, oh, you right, man. Boom. But again, there's certain words, certain codes. That's just me. But today's society, I think, is, you can't say certain things because there are black people who are talking and calling other black people the same names. But then we want to turn it around when it's certain types of people. That's why I did that Jackie Chan thing. When there's another black person, two black people walking in, and both black people say the same thing, it's no problem. But you let a black person say something, and then a white person say the same thing. The white person like, hold on, did you just say that? I just said what you said. And that's offensive. So that's why I say I'm not attacking. It's a principle thing that this world is suffering from, and that's why I spoke the truth. I said if we were to speak the truth and people learn from the truth, then we won't have no problems. And I think, again, it starts in the family, it starts in the church, but you got a lot of people who are scared to talk about topics like that because they are scared that people are going to come after them and they're going to lose their jobs.
No, I agree with that. Did you hear all of what he said about the players kneeling and females reffing and all that other stuff? Yeah, again, what I'll say to that is, just like I told somebody today, people are quick to make their decision based off of limited information. They are quick to be the first to run to the poll and cast their votes. First, they get all of the information.
and then come back. Just like with the kneeling. Everybody was cut. Oh, he don't like the flag. That was never about the flag. People were running with less information. And then once they got the real information, okay. So that's what it is. If people were to get all of the information and then make their decision, I think we would be in a better place. But people are quick to be offended without listening to the information and then making your response after that. But again, like I said, I'm not turning this into a John Gruden, what he said. That's why I said I want to look at it from a global standpoint. Black, white, Hispanic, Asians, all of us. But, it is what it is. And I just, like I said, speaking the truth, man, just speaking the truth. That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm going to do this real quick because we at the end of the segment. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Todd up there. Todd said Gruden deserved to be fired. What he said was terrible. As a Christian, people's heart can change. I hope Gruden can. Maybe he can do some good for others. He's still a young man. Like I said again, folks, we got to go to a break here, and then we're going to come back with a little bit more NFL talk. And then, of course, we're going to talk in a happy lane. The Atlanta Falcons have won. Oh, before we go to that, one more from social media. That's from Fantasy Football Go Strategy. It's a classic example of the shield is just as deadly as the sword. The shielding of the words, email messages cut just as deep as the words themselves to the the wiser. Sword is words spelled backwards, kind of. All right. That's it. Like I said again, I'll withhold my comments because mine would take too long. But listen, guys, don't go nowhere. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show, and as we like to do, we keeping it real. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Tune in for live high school football Fridays, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on RealTalkSports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at AllenVigilFord.net. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that last ad you saw there is a new ad that we will be running. Hopefully, it will be coming to a screen near you in the not-too-distant future as we now are taking the next step to promote what we do at high school football and, of course, the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, please check out our website, but more importantly, go to our YouTube page. We appreciate we've gotten probably about another 30 or 40 followers in the last month or so, so we appreciate all those of you who have done that. Please consider to do so, and please tell people about our show. It's real easy. You just follow us on social media anywhere. Here, bam, at Real Talk Sports 7. And remember, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. Hit the little bell, bing, and it'll give you notifications when we are on the air. So that's how you do it. All right. So that was hot and heavy. I think we might have to kind of, chop that up. Maybe we might have to have a whole segment about people not telling the truth and people being prevented from speaking their mind. Because one thing I will say to keep in mind, and it's had nothing to do with the minister on the pulpit, is just that we live in a country where allegedly free speech is a right. Okay. I'm not saying you have the right to hurt someone intentionally with your speech, but you should be able to have an opinion that is different than someone else and not necessarily cost your job. I'm not necessarily saying in this case the John Gruden situation because we have a large body of work, but I'll say one last thing. Everybody better be careful about calling the word police because one day somebody gonna call them on you and you ain't gonna like it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Right there, Jonathan. That's a great point.
People
That's
it.
Spotlight get shine on them. If people are quick, and like you said, we could touch on this probably next time. But when the light is shown on somebody else, everybody else want to pick up a rock and throw it, man. Throw it. But then when that light get turned back on you, okay, then you say this. You didn't say it to this nationality of a person, but you said it to your own kind. Didn't you say that? Well, not, but that's not how I meant it. That's well, how did you mean it? How did you mean it? So
Tyrone, I can see this is something that kind of got a little burn the salad for Tyrone.
No,
So
it
we
ain't,
might
it ain't
have
nothing
to.
like that. It ain't nothing like it's
No.
nothing.
I mean, what I mean by that, I mean it's an issue that clearly you're very passionate about. So, like I said, we might have to kind of bring this as a separate show one day, because I mean, not necessarily the whole hour and a half, but basically talk about some issues, because it's real. It's real talk, and everybody has different opinions about it. So that's it.
Passionate about it.
All right, we'll pop it up there, guys. There we go. We already talked about Bama and Georgia being ranked number 1. We want to talk a little bit about the young QBs. I'm going to say this quick, and then we get to Falcons. Okay, of the young QBs, we got a couple of new guys, obviously, have come into the league this year with Justin Fields and with Trey Lance, and we saw the young man from the Jets. But we got 2 guys that battled it out the other night. Actually, 3 of them were all on display. We had Lamar Jackson, we had Mahomes, and we had Josh Allen. Right now, who would you pick as the number 1 young quarterback in the NFL? Tree, you first.
So when you say young, I was thinking rookies. So when you threw those other guys in there, that kind of like threw me.
I mean, like the young guns, the rookies. I mean, because the rookies are kind of they're rookies. So, but the young guns, the guys actually played a couple of years. Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Mahomes if he's in that, because he's a great quarterback. I love the things that he can do. So I think Mahomes is in my top, definitely.
All right, Tyrone, how about you?
You know what? From a young standpoint, these 2 guys, Justin Herbert with the Chargers, I think he's going to be a rising star. You know, he has some great numbers out there. I think he's already got like 9 touchdowns. Of course, he got 3 interceptions, but, you know, he's playing pretty good. And then my other guy, Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray, man, he's just putting it on fire as well. That guy there, man, I'm like a defensive coordinator nightmare, man. I'm like, that dude there, how do you defend him, man? And, you know, if I had a choice between him and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. I think I'm going with Kyler Murray, man. Kyler Murray, he does some magnificent things too. You know, I'm like, I think he's faster than Mahomes, and I think he got just as good an arm as Mahomes. So I think Mahomes plays for a great coach, and Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid is one of the greatest masterminds when it comes to an offense. But if you put Kyler Murray in that offense, just like they used to say back in the day, if you put Barry Sanders in the same offensive line behind Emmitt Smith, how many yards does Barry Sanders get? So, hey, not saying that Kingsbury is not a good coach, but I'm like Andy Reid, man, he's shown it over and over and over how good he is as taking quarterbacks to the next level.
No doubt, man. I was very impressed in what I've seen from Josh Allen. Him and Mahomes got the biggest cans I've ever seen, man. These guys can both throw the ball about 70, 80 yards in the air while they're running. So I'll take either one of those guys. Kyler Murray, I'm not mad at him. He's like a water bug that you try to step on, you just can't do it. He just seems to be elusive all the time. So we definitely going to see some great quarterback play coming up in these next several years. And speaking of good quarterback play, we got to give kudos due. That number 2, Matt Ryan, he did A-OK. Falcons keyed the victory last week with offense. Number 1, they rushed for over 100 yards for the first time in a while. Number 2, they closed out the game on their last drive. Defense was stout, and the coaching finally looked like what I expected to see out of the Falcons. Great play calling, and of course, great execution by them as well. And then Matt Ryan had big numbers. It was, really like must-see TV. Let's see if I can get those numbers up for Mr. Ryan. Let's see if I can get up there. There he is, Matt Ryan, 33 of 45, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interception, and finally, doggone it, the coming out party for Mr. Kyle Pitts, showing why he was drafted number 4 overall, number 1 by the Falcons, 8 receptions, 119 yards. And to me, the guy who right now is the MVP for the Falcons, Mr. Cordell Patterson, 114 total yards. And the guy just seemed to do every single thing. So, got to show the Falcons some love because they won. All right.
They won. And Kyle Pitts finally got a touchdown.
Let's go to social media real quick here. Let's see here. We got we already did that one. Right. Here we go. So the fantasy football goal strategy, he ranked them like this. The young guns for him were 1A, Kyler Murray, 1B, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes left off the list. Okay. Fantasy football. Well, I know why he's thinking, man, because I mean, as far as fantasy football right now, Mahomes have been kind of jacking him up. He got more interceptions. I think he has almost as many as he had the whole year last year. So that's it. All right, let's go around the circle about what you guys think about the Falcons, what they did Sunday, and can they keep it up? Tree, what do you think about the Falcons' performance on Sunday?
I think their performance was pretty awesome. I think that's exactly what they need to propel them into the next part of the season. That's what they needed. It's kind of like in the game of basketball. Sometimes when you're shooting and you can't find your shot, it won't go in. You just have to keep shooting, and you just need to see the ball go through the basket and through the hoop. And then once that happens, then you start making your shot. I think for the Falcons, they needed this win. They needed to see the drives and the scoring happen. They needed to see the defense. It's great that they got 2 sacks in the fourth quarter. So now I think that this is definitely going to boost and enhance what we are going to see from the Falcons going forward this season. Will they continue to get W's from it? I'm not sure, but I do think that we will see an enhanced level of play. And I think that this was exactly what they needed to get them there.
Tyrone, your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons and their win on Sunday?
Well, you know, as the old saying goes, you're supposed to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And the Gang Green, the New York Jets, as they're called, really not that good of a team. So, yes, the Falcons, they're supposed to come away with this win. Like they were supposed to come away with the Washington football team win. But it goes to show that you got to play every day. But hopefully this is a game that helps them heal some of those wounds of, you know, what they could have done and should have done in the first beginning of the season. They come out, 20 points before halftime. So their offense really got cranked up. Defense didn't allow but 3 points before halftime. So I think they kind of used this game to kind of give themselves hopefully a boost and see what they really got. First downs, they were dominating. Third down efficiency. Offensively, they were doing great. They actually, what I like, the fact that they ran a lot of plays offensively. The Falcons ran 75 plays to the Jets 52. Now, was that because of the long flight? The Jets were just tired, or did the Falcons just dominate? But either way, those are super athletes out there on that field. But the Falcons to have 75 plays and the Jets to only have 52 plays, that means that their defense was getting off the field and their offense was staying on the field. So it shows in the time of possession, 35 minutes to 24 minutes. So hopefully they can use this as a springboard and, kind of put some wins together and see what happens for the rest of the season.
And no doubt it is, it was a critical win for them. I mean, it was a situation where they needed this win. They almost once again snatched the defeat from the jaws of victory. That's one of the things that the coach talked about, that as his favorite thing, likes to say, we got to clean it up. Definitely say he's very irritated at the not one but 2 fumbles in the red zone. Because they talked about how good his offense was. He said, well, man, we should have scored more. I mean, the Falcons really should have scored 40 points and blown the Jets out, but they turned the ball over twice in the red zone, and that's something I know they're going to work at. Well, speaking of something that people are going to work at, we're going to be working at getting ready to go to the National League Championship Series, because breaking news just in, it's over. The Braves have won the NL Division Series over Milwaukee. Game-winning run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Braves win 5-4 over Milwaukee, and they win the series 3-1, and they now go on to face the winner of the Dodgers and Giants series. So there it is, guys. Braves win 5-4, and it is over. So the Bravos take that next step to try to get to the World Series, where they have not been since 1999, I think it was. So there it is, guys. They did it. How about those Bravos? Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the Falcons, it's just a matter of them using all the weapons. You've heard me say a couple of times, Tyrone, about why don't they use the 3 tight end set more? Well, they did that in abundance against the Jets. It was very successful. All their guys from the tight end position made big plays. Even the guy they brought in to primarily block, Lee, who's primary blocker, he scored a touchdown already, and he's had some huge catches, because when you come out of that set, you got 2 tight ends that basically are oversized wide receivers, obviously in Kyle Pitts, and the same thing with Hayden Hurst. Both of those guys can catch the ball. They have some speed. They're athletic. So, to me, you're trying to run the ball, put those big, beefy guys in, and then make the defense have to decide which tight end they're going to guard or not guard. So I just was very pleased at what happened. Now, one thing that did kind of has been lingering around, there was a key guy missing. Calvin Ridley did not go to London due to personal reasons. Could that be the reason why we've seen not necessarily stellar play out of Calvin Ridley? Obviously, speculation, but maybe this is the answer why he hasn't really seemed to be the guy that we've seen last year. If you guys have any thoughts on it?
It always could be the reason, because you never know what people are going through personally in their personal lives. And one thing that a lot of people need to realize is that, yes, athletes are great on the field at what they do, but they are human beings and they have families and they have issues just like everybody else. So when you have things that you're going through, some players can push through and use it to their advantage and just take it out on the field. And some players take things more personally, and it can affect their play a lot depending on what that situation is. So you just never know. But I definitely hope that all is well and wish him and his family the best.
Well, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Tyrone, you looking at these guys, what are some of the things you think they could improve on to ensure that they can kind of take this after the well, first of all, let me ask you a question. Depending on what time of year is, I guess it makes a difference, but how refreshing is the bye week as far as allowing you to regroup as a player and kind of move into the next part of your season?
Well, it depends on when that bye season falls. As a player, the longer the season, you want that bye to come, I would say, kind of like just after the halfway point of the season. I don't want it to come too early in the season because sometimes you can lose that chemistry and then you got to wake it back up. You don't want it to come at the end of the season because you can lose your flavor and get into the playoffs and then you're dead. So I would rather just play straight through it. They're professionals and they know how to take care of their bodies. But I think this game against the Jets again I'll consider it like a boxing match. Sometimes you give that your main, to get your boxer's confidence back. You give him a setup fight, an easy fight, get his confidence. Yes, and I treat this game against the Jets as such. This is a easy match to get the confidence back up, to let the team see what we really can be. And just like Tree said, just hopefully they can ride the wave, man. But as far as the bye week, I'd rather have it somewhere just after the halfway season, but definitely not at the end and definitely not at the beginning.
Well, unfortunately, they're kind of stuck with it now. They've only played 4 games, and so they really have to go out now and deal. Actually, is it 4 games? 5 games. I'm sorry, they played 5 games. So you really barely now, because you have 17 games, you're barely a third of the way through the season. So there's no question that they're going to have to keep their pedal to the metal to make things go. Yeah, man, just in watching this team, it's just you saw glimpses. And, the coach is kind of a funny guy because he's kind of like telling everybody now, it's just what I've been telling you guys, like, you can't just like flip out. No, Tyrone, you said every week how fans just go, tear everything up every time you have a bad game. But coach said, look, man, he said these guys learn new schemes. That's it. But the one thing I did see is, again, I saw an offense that was more well-suited to the personnel they had. One of the things people complain about every week, and it is a true factor, that Matt's ability to throw the deep ball has been diminished. So you can't, to me, call out of plays where you're expecting him to do what a Mahomes or to even do what a Lamar Jackson or any of these guys can do, where you got a go route and you want to throw the ball 40, 50 yards in the air. He just doesn't do it that accurately anymore. But what I saw from the offense this week, where you saw the up tempo, where you saw the ball being thrown to slot receivers, to tight ends, the guy looked like he did 10 years ago when they had that similar type of offense. So hopefully they can continue to use this and continue to find ways to let Kyle Pitts be what everybody thought he could be, which is a guy that's a matchup nightmare whenever you play the Falcons.
And again, that's what football is all about. It's about matchups. It's about it's a numbers game, even in the running game. A lot of people think when those quarterbacks get up there and they just barking out calls, 55 is Mike, 55 is Mike. Basically that information is very important. And again, football is a numbers game. You always want to run where you have the most numbers. That's why you see offenses shifting and this and that. And if the defense doesn't shift, they get outnumbered, and then boom, it opens up a big hole. So going back to what you're saying, Jonathan, the more that they can utilize their personnel and get these matchups and spread the field, create those mismatches, create them numbers where it favors the Falcons in the running game, then I think you'll be able to see the offense that they really wanted to put on the field. But everybody got to get into their playbooks and learn what they got to do before the coach can unleash everything in that playbook.
And that's what he kind of said. Go ahead, Tree, go ahead. Jump in.
And I was just going to say some numbers that I would love to see is more yak yards from the Falcons. And the ones that I'm referring to are the yards after contact. I think that if we can increase our yak yards, then we'll be able to make more plays and you'll see more scoring that will be done. So that's one of my favorite stats to look at. And so let's get more yards after contact and let's keep it moving.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm going to give you guys again, we mentioned the fact that the Braves won, and they won it in the fashion that we've seen the Braves win it before. The winning run came with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. And you know who? Last year's MVP, Freddie Freeman, steps up to the plate and sends one into the night for a game-winning 2-out solo home run in the 8th. Braves brought their closer on and got 3 outs in the top of the 9th, and it's the ball game. So once again, the Braves showing what they've shown really for the last couple of years with this team, that they are absolutely clutch. Unlike other Atlanta-based teams, somehow or another, the Braves have found the clutch gene, except when they get into this NL Division Series. They've seemed to lose the clutch gene, as we saw them lose a 3-1 lead not once but 2 times as they played in postseason. So hopefully the Braves have got that out of their system. But again, shout out to the Braves. They win 5-4. Freddie Freeman hits a 2-out solo homer in the bottom of the 8th inning. It doesn't get any better than that. I know they're going bananas out there at the at Truist Park and at the Battery. I mean, I don't think nobody getting home before 1 o'clock. I mean, it's going to be rocking and rolling. I know it says it's just the division series. I mean, you're early, but I think the fact that they were finally able to win at home, because that was the other kind of weakness of the Braves all year long. They were basically about a 500 team at home, whereas they were, 10, 15 games above 500 on the road. So big shout out to the Braves for handling their business. Again, Braves win 5-4. Freddie Freeman, last year's MVP, hits a 2-out solo homer in the bottom of the 9th to wrap it up for the Bravos. All right, we know about the Falcons. We know what they are about. I know, Tree, you're excited about the defense. Tyrone, I'm going to ask you this as well. Talk to the defense.
Matt Ryan question.
Go ahead.
No. I say, hey, bring it. I got some notes for people. I know they, down on Matt Ryan and everything like that. Matt Ryan, like you said, alluded to, he can't throw the deep ball. That may be true, but I think when they said we're gonna make Matt Ryan the quarterback, I don't think they were looking at the deep ball. I think really what they were looking at is the completion rates. Okay, can he complete the ball and throw the ball where it needs to be thrown? Now, I want to throw some numbers out there. Okay, now you look at the top 10 quarterbacks: Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Tom
Tyrone.
Brady.
Okay, there we go.
That's like the whole league, bro. You need to kind of
I'm making a point. I'm making a point. This is where people got is information, right? Knowledge and its proper use wins battles. That's why people be arguing, because they have no knowledge. Okay, but I'm just trying to drop off a little knowledge here. Okay, Matt Ryan, yes, he's not going to throw the deep ball, but what I do believe Matt Ryan can do, it goes back to what your point, Jonathan. They have to run an offense that's comfortable to his skill set, and his skill set that makes him good. He knows where to throw the ball. That's why I brought up those names. The completion rate. You know that Matt Ryan has thrown the ball 204 times. He is 9th with 69, almost 70% completion rate. Tom Brady is 15th in completion. Okay. And Tom has thrown the ball 225 times. Okay. Now the leader, Kyler Murray, he is completing 75% of his passes. He's throwing the ball 165 times. So I understand they say Matt Ryan can't throw the ball deep, but Matt Ryan still has that thing up in his head that you can't pay for. Okay. That is IP. He knows where to throw the ball. Now, if the Falcons can get a running game and get Calvin Ridley and everybody else to get aboard and, get open, not saying that they're not on board, but, everybody learn the playbook, then I think Matt Ryan can get them, possibly a good second half of the season or the rest of the season. So I just want to throw that out there about Matt Ryan. He will throw the ball where it needs to be thrown. It's just
he does. I mean, honestly, the players just need to catch the ball, because if you look, he had the ball literally right in their hands. So I agree with you, Tyrone. He does throw the ball where it needs to be thrown, and that's why I always tell people the problem is not Matt Ryan.
Look, I mean, like the end of the day, I'm not, and when you hear me talk about this, I will not take away, and you guys heard me say this repeatedly about what he's done for this franchise. I mean, people have to understand, before Matt came, they had not had back-to-back winning seasons. They had not had the run which he had, which I think the first 5 years they went to playoff either 4 or 5 times. So I'm not taking anything away. The guy's a former MVP. Tyrone, you talk about every week on how hard it is to win a football game. For a guy to be the MVP of the league, you can't do that being Bobo the Clown. Okay, you can say what you want about, okay, I got Julio Jones, but it's not like, Matt was playing with 2 Julio Jones. There was 1 Julio. All right. Now, granted, Freeman had a great year, but Matt played his what off in that year. So we can't take any of that away from him. And he's got the Falcons to 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl, which a lot of good quarterbacks, some that we even listed just now on that list, they haven't done that. So I don't want to take away from that. But I will say that in the construct of today's game, where the deep ball is becoming more and more prevalent with not running, but mobile quarterbacks, the ability to scramble and on the run be able to throw the ball downfield to open receivers, that's the one area, and I guess you have to be lacking in this area, that's the one area where Matt is not as strong in terms of throwing the ball. But I will say this much. He has looked better and better throwing the ball on the run, because I saw a couple of passes. He really put them out there. All right, guys, before we get out of here, we got a question here, which I'm right. Speaking of big stuff on the weekend, Fantasy Football Go Saturday says, Tyrone or panel, you made a boxing reference in your commentary earlier. Any thoughts on the fight between Tyson? you laughing already. Any thoughts on the big fight, the Tyson Fury fight, at which he won over an epic battle in his showdown of the trilogy? Tyrone?
I don't know whether it's the name Tyson.
Yep.
That actually is what I'm focused on. Mike Tyson, Fury, but Tyson Fury did what he was supposed to do. He did. He came in, he won, he dominated. So I want to see him and Anthony Joshua get it on. So I think that's what everybody's kind of waiting on. At least that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think that fight is going to be a very lopsided fight. Yeah, I think that Joshua showed us against what was the guy that knocked him out? The pudgy guy. I can't call his name right now, but I'm thinking if he can't stand up on them kind of blows, man, I mean, Fury is going to beat the brakes off him. On top of that, Fury has got a chin like no tomorrow, because this is a man that won a fight brutally, dominated in the second half of that fight, after being knocked down not once but twice early in the fight. It looked like he's about to go. So, yeah, I mean, he's got all the intangibles that you want out of a great heavyweight fighter. He's got the knockout, one-shot KO punch. If you're not careful, you're going to walk into something and, go to bed for the rest of the night. He's also got that chin like iron that Ali and some of the other greats had, and the ability to get off the deck, which, Ali and some of the other greats had after being hit with everything from another top heavyweight to be able to get back up and win a fight. So, yeah, man, he's and I just think Anthony Joshua, I mean, to me, don't get me wrong, he would be a good champion because, like Ali, good-looking guy, smooth talker, and when he's on his game, yeah, he's nice. But I think that, yeah.
It's like Tyson Fury. You brought up, made me think about the old time boxing, or not old time, but George Foreman. George Foreman was that kind of guy. He wasn't gonna dance. He was just gonna come and throw in blows. So my question is, what type of boxer would it take to beat Tyson Fury? Would it be a Muhammad Ali type of style where you boom, 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 you dance around, boom, boom, boom? Because it doesn't seem like you can stand toe to toe with this guy. I mean, they couldn't stand toe to toe with George Foreman, and that's why Ali, let him punch himself, punch drunk, and then he pap, and next thing you know, down goes. Well, I know we talking about Frazier, but
right.
Foreman went down too. So down goes Foreman, as Howard Cosell would say. So, what type of boxer will it take to beat a Tyson Fury?
I'll let Tree answer that first.
I'm not sure. I go back and forth with watching boxing. I really don't like watching people get hurt. So I used to watch Tyson fight and other things, but so I did not watch the fights. So I can't really say.
Tree says, I distaste the brutality of it all. I don't watch that type of thing with men shedding blood of others. But I get you. I mean, because it can be brutal. I mean, that's why that's why I don't know. Tree, please talk to your sisters in MMA. These women, I don't watch
that either.
How did you let your grown woman get beat like this? It's terrible. But anyway, okay, Todd, hang on. Let me get my shades again. Doggone it, he done did it again. Todd said about boxing, the sport is rigged. It'd be like wrestling. Well, Todd, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know what fight you be watching, but I mean, somebody's getting hurt in that ring. I mean, there was some. I used to call back and there was some man blows. I mean, there were no little kid blows. Tyson and my man Wilder, they were hitting one another with man blows, stuff that you think to yourself. Me personally, after that first one, I've been like this. Especially them checks, I've been Pam. The preacher is down. And he in the throat. Yeah, I'll be down the roof like this. Come on, man. Come on. Preacher's in serious trouble here. He's not moving. They're counting 8, 9, 10. It's over. One punch and the preacher's out.
Hey,
and then my next stop would have been Rhonda. Hey, man, you got that check? I mean, I'm out.
Hey, tell you, I'll tell you how you know them blows are real. When you see that sweat,
right,
out there
fly off, yes, sir.
That was a hit right there.
Right.
Jump out the face.
Yep. That's the real situation. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up.
You remember that game on Nintendo?
Yep.
Boxing game.
Uppercut.
That's what's like.
You can't fake those blows when you get hit and it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's that grown man stuff. I want no part of that. Like I said, before we go, guys, in case you just kind of bopped in, we'll let it go down here on the ticker. Braves win. Freddie Freeman, 2 out. Solo blast in the bottom of the 8th. Closer comes on and holds down the fort, and the Braves find themselves once again heading to the National League Championship Series to face the winner of either San Francisco Giants or the LA Dodgers. One last comment from social media before we go, and it is our friends from Fantasy Football GOAT Strategy. Ironically, Ortiz, the last fighter that Wilder beat, would be a good match for Fury. Fury would still be the favorite, but Ortiz would bring it to him. Yeah, I mean, listen, the one thing you can't say about heavyweights now, man, these guys are all those old school Tyrone thunder punchers that, if you're not careful, you can find yourself out with an early exit. Well, speaking of exit, we all got to go. But before we do that, we always like to make sure that all of our panelists or guests let you know where they can find you and let them know all about what they're doing as far as social media and websites. So, Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
All right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. And I'm going to be like Ken Norton. I'm going to hit you hard. I'm going to be like George Foreman. I ain't going nowhere. So you can find me at Tyrone Poole 38 on all social media.
And I got it right on the first try, baby, at Tyrone Poole 38. That's what I'm talking about. All right, man. God bless you. See you next week.
All right. You guys be good.
Bye-bye. All right. The lovely Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I would like to say that you can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International. And I also would like to wish a happy Sweet 16th to Denver. I went to her Sweet 16 birthday party this past weekend. She's one of the volleyball players that I work with and phenomenal young girl. So I wanted to give her a shout out.
That's what I'm talking about. Until next week. God bless you. See you again. All right, guys, I'm going to put myself up here. First of all, follow the show, if you would, please, at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Also, remember to follow me if you like, at Minister J. Sims. I'd love to have you follow me as well. And also, if you need to contact me, if you got a great sports story or you know someone that you think would make a great interview for the show, hit me up on an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or simply give me a call on the cell 678-410-9833. Well, guys, before I go out of here, I got to definitely ask you, if you don't know God, if you're in a relationship with him through having a relationship with his son, Jesus Christ, or Mighty Yahashua HaMashiach, his government name, I implore you, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today, because nobody loves you like Jesus, like your mom, not your grandmom, not your bae, not your boo, not auntie and them, nobody. Why? Because he came on the earth, died for you. Matter of fact, died for all the sins of all mankind. And when he rose from the dead, he had the ability to do two nifty things. Number one, that when you believe in him, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adoptive child of God with all the rights therein. And that means you now can go directly to God, your own self, and pray and ask for what you need or what you desire in the name of Yahashua HaMashiach, which is Jesus Christ. And the Lord God himself, according to his will grant you that desire. And number two, when you leave here, you get to go to the most spectacular place ever created, that place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, no bad people, no darkness, no death of any time, no sadness, and it's light all the time because the glory of God lights up the kingdom. And you avoid the unhappy place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven will not be in hell. So it's going to be dark, it's going to be dreary, it's going to have bad people, it's going to be painful, and you're cut off from the Lord God himself forever and a day. And I don't know about you, but I like option number one is to have option number two. All right, guys, on behalf of everybody here, the crew, Tyrone and the lovely Miss Tree Dolman, we'll get one more comment here from social media. We have a new follower on YouTube. Zangu says, hi, Real Talk. And we say, hi to you, Zangu. And join us again next week. All right, guys, speaking of next week, until next time, God bless you, and have a great night. So long.